What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another movie review. If you guys are new here, feel free to click that subscribe button and that bell notification icon for more reviews, reactions, rankings, and more movie content. Today I'm going to be reviewing a new movie that is releasing on HBO Max as well as in theaters this week, and that is the prequel to the classic TV show The Sopranos, The Many Saints of Newark. This movie is directed by Alan Taylor, who's brought us films like Thor: The Dark World, Terminator Genesis, some great episodes of Game of Thrones, and it stars Alessandro Nivola, Corey Stoll, Leslie Odom Jr., Vera Farmiga, John Bernthal, and Michael Gandolfini. This movie tells the story of young Tony Soprano, who is the lead character of the Sopranos TV show, and it's all about his life, his family life with his uncle, his mother, his father, and this movie pretty much tells the story of how Tony Soprano became who he is, who he looked up to, mostly his uncle, as well as just the rough, just gangster neighborhood of this movie. Now, I have to completely confess something to you guys. I have never seen The Sopranos. This was one of the most beloved TV shows of all time. Many of my friends, my family, all love The Sopranos, and I have never seen The Sopranos. It's a show I've always wanted to check out, and so I had no idea if I should see this movie before watching the show. But many of my colleagues and friends who have seen The Sopranos say that you don't have to watch the show before this. It is a prequel. It tells the story of Tony Soprano when he was a kid. I was pretty interested in this movie. I like crime, mafia, gangster movies, but I don't know the world of The Sopranos. That was the only concern I had going in. So what were my thoughts on this movie, guys? Was it good, bad, skippable, or watchable? I will say this, as someone who has never seen The Sopranos before, I thought the movie was solid. This movie is made for fans of The Sopranos. Like, if you wanted a prequel Sopranos movie, I think this is the movie you're going to be very pleased with. But if I watch the show and watch the movie again, maybe I would have loved this movie more, but I just don't know the world of The Sopranos, so I wasn't able to fully invest in the world. But I really dug the direction this movie was going. Immediately, you're brought into the world of where this movie takes place in. I think it does a great job of depicting its setting extremely well. Just the colors of New York, New Jersey, it's just dark. This movie is completely dark. You know that going in. And the way the cinematography looks, it is perfectly depicting its time period. I thought the performances in this movie were really great, especially from Alessandro Nivola, who plays the uncle to Tony Soprano. I don't know who this actor is, but I thought he did a great job as his uncle. This character is a horrible person, but you see that relationship he has with his nephew Tony and with his other family members. And this character was really compelling. I don't know if this character is a huge part to the show, but I thought he was the most interesting character in here by far. I thought he was great. And another person who I thought was great was Leslie Odom Jr.'s character in here. This character was awesome, and I thought Leslie Odom does a fantastic job as always. And it was cool to see him in here because I'm a huge fan of Leslie Odom Jr. You guys know I love Hamilton. And he is really OP in this movie. I just thought he had some really cool, badass scenes in here. His character was really cool. I wish there was more of him because he was honestly one of my favorite parts of this movie. You have some other great, subtle performances. You got Vera Farmiga in makeup. You got Corey Stoll, you may know as Yellow Jacket. He's also in here. And you see Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta also is involved in here. He's pretty great. But we really want to talk about Michael Gandolfini in here as Tony Soprano. Obviously, this kid is the son of the original actor who plays Tony Soprano in the show, James Gandolfini, who passed away. But I thought this kid mostly did a good job. However, I do have some negatives with him. But for the scenes he was in, I thought he was solid in here. Not great, but I just thought as the character of Tony Soprano, You could see why this kid is getting angry a lot of times, and it's with the family, it's with the situations. This movie is obviously very violent. Obviously, it's depicting a lot of crime, mafia violence in here with this family. Very reminiscent of The Godfather for sure. It kind of remind me a lot of The Godfather, this movie. With the family moments, you have a lot of weddings, there's funerals in here. And Italian mafia-ness, it just totally reminded me of The Godfather in here. Where does my issues lie with this movie? It's my understanding of the world. Now, it's obviously because I have not seen the show yet. If you have seen the show, you will see a lot more in here than me. Tony Soprano seems like the character that they're trying to tell us what this movie is about, how he grew up, his relationship with his family members, his uncle, his father, his mother. But I kind of felt like this movie was more about the uncle than Tony Soprano. Because I felt like the uncle had more screen time than Tony Soprano in here. Because the first act is him as a kid. Didn't have a lot of scenes. It's mostly the uncle. And then the second act and third act is him, obviously, as a kid. We see Michael Gandolfini. But I wish it was more about Tony Soprano than it was about the uncle. I thought the uncle was great, but I felt like it was more about the uncle, or I guess he becomes what he is today because I just was confused. If you saw it totally different, I totally get it. You saw the show, I haven't seen the show, but that was something I had a little confusion with. As far as Tony Soprano himself, like I said, in the short amount of scenes he did have, I thought the Michael Gandolfini did a solid job, but I kind of felt like he was overacting at times. Now, obviously, he's very young. He's 22. And I just felt like the character didn't have enough emotional moments because, again, I felt like there wasn't much scenes of him to really get that emotional depth in. Now, this is also an issue I also expected coming. Now, obviously, this feels like a TV movie. Like El Camino, Breaking Bad movie. I love that movie. I thought that movie was great. I'm a huge Breaking Bad fan, but that did feel like a TV movie. And this movie also feels like a TV movie with the storyline in here, and it doesn't feel that epic compared to your classic crime mafia films like The Godfather or Goodfellas. Whenever there was intense high-stake moments, I thought it was great. But as far as the characters themselves, I didn't really care about them or get invested in them. Again, that could be different. You may see the show and you may connect with those characters, but for me, who hasn't seen the show, I didn't connect with really much characters in this movie, and that's what I kind of expected. Before I give you guys my final overall thoughts on The Many Saints of Newark, if this is your guys' first time checking out the channel, and if you're enjoying hearing my thoughts on this movie, definitely hit that like button. It helps the channel a lot. And consider clicking that subscribe button. I review movies every week on this channel, as well as do ranking videos. I talk about movies all the time. You're in the right place. Hit that like and subscribe button, and let's talk movies. I think The Many Saints in Newark will do its job. It'll please the Sopranos fans for sure, who want more in this world. But for me, who hasn't seen the show, I definitely want to. But I thought it was a solid movie all around. Not perfect. I definitely recommend this movie if you're a huge fan of The Sopranos. So yeah, definitely check this movie out if you want a nice, solid crime mafia film. On my rating scale, I'm going to give The Many Saints of Newark a C. There you have it, guys. That was my thoughts on The Many Saints of Newark. What did you guys think of this movie? Have you seen it? Let's talk about it in the comments. Did you love it, think it was okay, or did you hate it? You guys are seriously all the best. All my social media links are in the description below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!